I just got done watching the teaser for Jingliu. I don't watch all of these usually, but this one was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, it was actually a nice watch. So definitely recommend watching if you haven't seen it. It seems a little early, but I'm not gonna complain, right? It was pretty good. Fu Xuan's banner is about to go away. It's 4 days left at the time I'm recording, and I'm going to give you my honest thoughts on the character. I did end up pulling her, which took a very long time because I am the unluckiest Honkai Star player in the world. And I have to say she's an amazing character. But Jingliu is going to be a really strong ice damage dealer, most likely stronger than Yang Qing, which puts her in a valuable position. Let's go over what we know. Now, Fu Xuan is an amazing character. There is no sugarcoating this character. She is one of the best characters in the game. She mitigates all the damage your team takes. She redirects that damage mitigated to herself, and she soaks it all up with her amazing HP pool. And she also has this very interesting idle animation. So when it comes to Lycone choices, Fu Xuan is really flexible. I'm using Moment of Victory. It increases your defense, increases your taunt value, and increases your defense furthermore when you're attacked, which goes hand in hand with the taunt value increase. It's very good for a character that wants to redirect damage to herself. I'm using a 4-piece quantum set on Fu because I already had some pieces I farmed prior to getting her. So I already had her build ready to go. And I'm using a sub DPS build because she has a lot of crit traces packed into her kit, coupled with her increase in crit rate with her elemental skill. So she has a lot of crit to work with, so why not go ahead and build her as a sub DPS? Now, even though her Eidolon 1 is amazing, a 30% crit damage increase for all allies that is dependent on Fu Xuan's turns is extremely valuable. We don't have very many buffs like this in the game currently, but it is attached to her first Eidolon. But don't get me wrong, this just makes her even better. At E0, she is still an amazing top tier character. And how can I forget Quantum Element? This makes her leagues above other defensive options because she is a part of one of the best elements in the game. It's like Luocha being a part of Imaginary. That's why he is also even better than other defensive options. These two elements are the strongest in the game. The weakness break effect allows you to delay the enemy's action, deal additional damage, and make them take more damage when they take their turn. Now, funny enough, this is one of the highest used teams in the game currently for Memories of Chaos. And this is a team we talked about in previous videos before Fu even came out. I figured that this team would be really good. You have a double cleanse with Bronya and Fu Xuan being able to provide a CC resist to the team, and all the buffs that Fu provides is dependent on her own turns. So Syl is able to take advantage of all the buffs Fu Xuan provides while still having a slight mono quantum comp. If that enemy already has wind weakness, then you're able to put that elemental skill from Silver Wolf quantum weakness onto the enemy reliably. But this is also a very valid team if you don't like using Bronya, or maybe using her in another team with your Blade, for instance. Then the mono quantum with Fu Xuan is still really good. You can put this comp into autoplay and literally close your eyes. It is just that strong. But we also learned, just like Luocha, you can put Fu Xuan into any team virtually, and she'll still get as much value. She is just like Luocha in being the top 2 strongest sustained characters in the game. So if you want to run a team like this, you could because it actually works. You have all of your buffs going towards your Denhang Vapor to the Nai, and him being a character that takes advantage of all of these skill point efficient characters, Yukong at C6 being a very skill point positive playstyle oriented character, allows him to get all the skill points he needs. This is a very nice functioning team for him. This being a very solid team for Jing because he has a character that is able to stop him from getting CC'd as soon as he gets hit by any enemy that has a stun ability. That allows him to still be able to use his elemental skill in a team where there isn't any cleansers. Ting Yun doesn't cleanse and Asta doesn't either. There's no Bronya in here because Bronya isn't really that good to use with Jing instead of a character like Ting Yun. So Jing takes advantage of all of the buffs Fu Xuan provides with the CC resist especially. This is now his best current team in the game. Now the 4th slot, you can use any other support instead of Asta and it still works really well. Silverwolf being really good for boss enemies, right? Empowering Jing's ability to do more damage with putting that lightning weakness onto the enemy. So Silverwolf in this team will naturally be still really strong. Even Kafka mains have been finding themselves using Fu Xuan in their team because Fu Xuan is like Luocha in being a very flexible and very universally viable solo sustained character. So having Fu Xuan really brings your account to the next level, and I'm very thankful to have this character. It's like Luocha in the sense of having him allows you to play with comps you might not have been able to play with before. because he is a skill point generating healer. That's really, really good. Now, if you watched our previous video, and that was me basically saying I'm never going for a damage dealer going forward until a character like maybe Raiden Mei comes out, if she ends up being in Honkai Star Rail. Now, some of them do have very high numbers, and some of them may even be a part of the best elements in the game. But the truth is the supports, much like in Genshin Impact, rule in Honkai Star Rail. And that is because damage dealers in Honkai Star Rail are starting to become obsolete, in a sense that they're just tweaking up the numbers for damage dealers going forward. I mean, we learned that ever since Blade released, and over time, characters have been doing more and more damage and not sticking to their core paths. So for me, that sounds really scary when it comes to rolling for damage dealers, because I know Seal is still strong now, but how much stronger will she be 6 months from now, right? I just want to give you my full thoughts on Jingliu before we actually get into the character. She's still going to be very amazing, but I'm proceeding with caution when it comes to damage dealers. That's just me personally though. Now, Jingliu is a character that's going to work really well with Luocha, and that is because of her HP drain mechanic. Even if you don't have Luocha, you can still use other characters like Bailu for instance, which is going to provide enough healing and damage mitigation to where you don't need to worry about any other sustaining option in the team. So any team you already use with Yangqing, you're probably going to use Jingliu in place of him. Jingliu is going to be a better Yangqing essentially when it comes to ice damage dealers, so having her with Pela allows you to take advantage of the pseudo AoE Jingliu brings with her kit. Pela providing a mass defense shred, and if you have the light cone with Luca on it, provides even more defense shred. Very, very good for AoE situations with Jingliu. The synergy with Bronya might not be as good as it once was before, but Bronya still provides a crit damage and attack buff to her and the whole team, while also being able to give a damage boost to Jingliu. So, all you have to worry about is using Jingliu's elemental skill after the first turn. After you use her elemental skill the first turn, you will still find the synergy with Bronya to still be really, really good. And then Luocha is just here. He is just here. Now, funny enough, you can use a team like this and it still works. Silverwolf, Fu Xuan, Pela, and Jingliu will be a really solid team comp. You will have a lot of HP drain going towards your attack because Fu Xuan has a ton of HP. Fu Xuan also, get this, gives HP to your allies. So the more HP that your allies will have will mean the more damage your Jingliu will be doing, because she will drain the HP proportionate to how much they have as their max HP. And Fu Xuan already gives max HP to them. So that makes her a very nice character to use alongside your Jingliu, while providing CC resist, a crit rate buff for Jingliu if you don't have that crit rate you need in order to ensure you hit the enemy with 100% crit, right? 50%. Maybe you have 38 and Fu Xuan provides 12 to your Jingliu. And on top of that, being able to mitigate damage makes her a very safe option to have with Jingliu. So the Genius of Brilliant Stars Ignore Defense 20% is more valuable than any other set in the game for Jingliu. The reason being is because Ignore Defense scales way harder into the late game when enemies have higher defenses, and you're probably already going to get a lot of ice damage bonus anyways from your planar spear and just overall the character's kit, and even tons of crit damage because of how Jingliu works. So you'll take advantage of the Ignore Defense because it's going to scale a lot harder when crit damage can have diminishing returns for your Jingliu. Now I'm gonna keep it real with you guys. You can use Jetpart still because Jingliu is a destruction character. So that means she doesn't have the highest bait speed of hunt characters like Seal, for instance. Your Jingliu may have attack boots, maybe she has speed boots. But if you're using your Jingliu with Bronya, you're probably going to use her with attack boots. If you're using her with Jetpart, maybe you'll use speed boots, or maybe you'll still use attack boots. Whatever you want to use on your Jingliu, you will use. But Jetpart being able to keep up with Jingliu's speed allows him to be a very solid defensive option for the character, even though she still does drain the HP of your allies. He gives a giant shield to the team, which acts as another source of an HP bar for the team. So that brings us back to the team comps. That means you can pretty much put any sustained option you want to have with your Jingliu, because every option in the game currently works. You can use Lynx, which is currently one of the best supports alongside Fu and Luocha. Or if you want a true free-to-play comp, you can use Natasha, which everyone gets for free. So that's one of the best things about Jingliu. You can use her with any other character you have on your account, because she is flexible with her team comps, because she doesn't have any drawbacks like characters like Den Heng and Baby to Life, for instance. All she does is just drain the HP of your allies, so you just need a sustained character to be alongside Jingliu. That's pretty much it. Now, while there might not be a many destruction light cones that benefits Jingliu, most welcome you is a really solid light cone in the character because she gets a ton of crit rate and a ton of crit damage already. So that means all you're left with is just needing attack percentage and getting 72% attack to your Jingliu if you have super imposition 5 on this light cone is going to make her hit extremely hard. On the Fall of an Aeon is still a really solid option for her. It's going to be better than the most welcome you, especially if you have refinements for it, because it does give you higher base stats than the most welcome you, and it also does give an attack increase that stacks relatively quickly. Now, do keep in mind, if you do get the weakness break, right, then you're going to be dealing 24% increased damage for Jingliu, which counts as damage bonus. So you're going to have up to 64% attack increase, and you're going to have a 24% ice damage boost for Jingliu. That's going to up her damage a ton. But who we kidding? We know the Jingliu fans are probably going to pull for her 5-star light cone, and I don't blame you, because the light cones in this game for limited characters have been extremely strong. So there you have it. What is the pull value for Jingliu? Well, if you don't have an ice damage dealer, then maybe you can consider going for her. But if I'm being completely honest here, I prioritize support characters, because characters like Silverwolf and characters like Bronya last a lot longer on your account. If you already have 2 damage dealers like Den Heng and Baby to the 9, and you have Seal, you probably won't need a damage dealer for a very long time. So I'm going to keep using Seal and Den Heng, and if I need another damage dealer, then I'll get whoever is out at the time. But going forward, I probably will be rolling for support characters like Huo and other characters that come out into the future like Hanya if they were supports like her. That's going to be the video here. Would I roll for Jingliu or Fu Xuan? Fu Xuan, of course, because she does hold a lot more value as a defensive option if you don't already have a defensive character, and she simply is just really good with being a quantum character. I'm not devaluing the character whatsoever. It just stating the truth here that I believe that going for DPS right now is kind of let's not even go there. You can roll for her. She's still going to be an amazing damage dealer, but every damage dealer that comes out is going to be an amazing damage dealer because that's how Honkai Star works right now, right? I wouldn't say this about Genshin because Genshin is a little different. Okay, we're going to make a whole video on this, so look forward to that video coming soon. I consider this a sneak peek. Thank you for watching, and have a nice rest of your day. Peace.